Yeah, there were some flaws in the process on the day. Some members would say they hadn't held their AGMs, and some had overrun their terms of office, but they still went ahead and voted, which is not according to the Constitution.
Thank you very much.
So I think
Thank you
that's
very much. Okay. Ever since you took over presidency, Mr. Proguza, has the national team played?
Yes, they have played 2 games against Zambia.
With one,
Correct, home and away.
home and away. Who is the current coach of the Sevens? You call them, is it?
There's 2 teams. The Sevens will be the 7th format of the game, and that is
The national team?
correct. That is national team as well. And
That's what we're interested in. Who is the coach?
Peter Bernardi,
Who appointed him?
the union.
Under your leadership?
No, before my leadership.
You took over.
Correct.
You spoke about Magamba Stadium,
Correct.
and you said you want to take it, you want to turn it into a rugby stadium.
If that is possible, would be grateful to do that.
Where is the funding coming from?
We have presented to one specific company, a bank, who are interested in assisting us against getting naming rights.
I'll open the floor to honorable members. Honorable Mama.
Thank you, Chairman. Welcome. My question is the Rugby Union fully compliant with SRC? And my second question is in line with women's rugby. What's the state of women's rugby, and what is the union doing in terms of protecting the girl child when it comes to issues of misconduct and sexual harassment? And then when it comes to rugby as well, is there a monitoring and evaluation process in ensuring that grassroots rugby is meeting its targets and its goals nationally when it comes to rural areas, high-density suburbs, and so forth? Thank you.
Thank you. The Zimbabwe Rugby Union is very compliant and fully compliant with the SRC. And we have paid all our statutes that we have to pay, and we have done all the things that we have to do. Then in terms of the second part of the question, I'll go to the one on development, on the looking after the women. The second one is on women. Our grant, which we get of £100,000, has 5 areas that we're supposed to look after, and one of them is women. We're supposed to assist women in competitions and making sure that women's rugby is actually played. So a certain percentage of our budget needs to go to women, which is not finalized yet in terms of how much should actually be going to women. And then in terms of making sure that women are protected, we have a code of conduct which applies to all rugby playing and officials, all the people involved in the sport. The fourth part of your question was making sure that the rural areas and all that development-wise is done. That is an area that we've been lacking, and it's an area that we really want to push in the national agenda going forward. It's an area that I'm very interested in, and obviously with the likes of Sampuku Mulisco coming in now, it's an area that is also very interested in. So we are looking forward to coming up with a comprehensive development plan, which will have monitoring and evaluation.
Supplementary. You said there's a percentage that's supposed to go towards women's rugby. Do you know what percentage that is?
So they don't give you a percentage. They basically say that we're giving you £100,000, and we would like you to use that £100,000 on governance, training and education, women, administration, and competitions. I now then have to put that together with the board, and after further discussions with the board, we will then finalize what it is that we are putting towards each particular area. For example, women.
So the grant has come in already?
50% of the grant came in from January to June, and because our elections were late, that was used by the previous board, and the other 50% of the grant, we're expecting it to come in end of July, early August.
Thank you, Honorable Mafuka.
Sorry, Chair, can I just add a few issues?
Go ahead, Sabuko Poliswa.
Yeah, I think really, if you know my background, rugby, I was the director of rugby for Zimbabwe Rugby. I was the national coach and director of rugby for Zambia as well. I was with the International Rugby Board. There isn't a plan. There isn't a plan. When I was the director of rugby, there was school in the rural areas. Youth and faiths were playing rugby and so forth. So what is needed is a strategic plan that will take rugby forward. Rugby is the cheapest sport. You turn the soccer field into a rugby field, and all you need are 2 balls. The other issue which is critical for rugby is you need to capacitate the teachers. For example, I'm the chairperson of Marsh West. The first question I asked is, how many schools do we have? Primary schools. I can tell you that there are 800 primary schools in Marsh West. The next question is, how many secondary schools do you have? There are 300. So you cannot talk about sports development without those institutions. They've got to play rugby. So the primary school must feed into the high school. The high school then feeds into an under-21 league. Unless I'm mistaken, Chairman, there's no under-21 league, but there's an under-21 team. During our...
And you are the chairman. Are we now playing in Marsh West Rugby?
There is rugby in Marsh West. Loma Gandhi plays, Ridings plays, Barrick plays,
What about Mondorongezi, a school in Mondorongezi?
No, you'll be pleased that Kukutama plays rugby.
Why are we not playing rugby at the lower level?
No, there was never a plan, like I'm saying, but the plan is going to come through so that schools play rugby first. What we intend to do for those in Marsh West, within 3 months, each school will have 3 rugby balls. So during break time, the kids can play rugby. During the school holidays,
give us a date to see rugby being played at lower level. I will not ask about other provinces. I'll ask about Marsh West to see rugby being played at lower levels. When can we expect that to happen?
No, 3 months' time, and within a month's time, we're inviting all members of Parliament because we want you to be the patrons of rugby. We want you to also put rugby kit, sports kit as a budget for your CDF as well. So we also want to talk to you about that, and we'll be able to give you how much you can budget for the rugby kit. It's not much, but we also want you to have those rugby jerseys so that you can be the champions for it. It's a very easy sport, like I said, like the president said. Yeah, I will definitely assist him. I'm there to assist and so forth. But what is critical, again, in the question that the honorable member asked, the president, is the 100,000 that comes through, how do we apportion it? And I think that's what is critical. 50% has come. Where has it gone? He wants to know how much of it is given to the women. The majority of the people are women in the country. In terms of percentage, they're probably over 50%. Are we giving 50% to women and all that? I think that's something that we'll definitely take up and come up with that so that it is a condition all the time. When there's 25,000 we're giving to women's rugby, then you know it's 25,000 and so forth.
Sabuku Mliswa. So are you saying Zimbabwe Rugby Union only gets 100,000? Do you have any fund?
Yes,
there's a talk of a fund. Is it SEBO fund or something?
Yes, there's a SEBO trust, which again...
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, there's a SEBO trust, which the unfortunate thing about rugby is that we dealt with racism, but there's no corruption amongst our own. There is elitism, there are cartels. Those people went to good schools and they are together in a cartel, and they don't want to take the game further. The SEBO Trust is responsible for raising money for rugby. Do you understand? they're given the mandate, can you raise money for us? But they are criminals in that the constitution that they have says that rugby cannot ask them anything. So how can we give you a mandate to raise money for us and we don't ask you? And unfortunately, like I say, there are too many conflicts. The chairman, the founder and the lawyer of Sebo Trust is the chairman of the SRC, Mr. Gerald Molochwa. Okay, so to me, I'm very clear about that. That is a conflict of interest itself. So we have to carry out an audit, and I've pushed to the executive that we want a forensic audit for 10 years. They've been getting money, $800,000, $1 million. We don't know how the money is spent. They must be reporting to us. So a forensic audit is going to happen. And to me, it's quite sad because of names, people fear, but I don't fear any names, you know. That's why I mentioned Gerald Mlochwa. He is the culprit of the Sebo's trust. He's the key beneficiaries of it. We are talking about facts here. So it is his friends that he went to school with. The former president was from CBC College in Bulawayo. He went to CBC College. So they make it a cartel of friends. All they do is go to World Cups, sit in the presidential suite, yet the players are suffering, yet the players have no balls. So how can you talk about the development of the sport when you've got people who are eating money which is supposed to go to development? What they should be asking the Zimbabwe Rugby Union is, what do you need? We present a budget. We are given money for that budget, but we are not allowed to ask any question. And I have moved that for as long as I'm an executive member, we must immediately cease ties with them. The CEO is also a problem. He does not at all understand.
Mention names, you're protected in Parliament. Who's the CEO?
Made, what's his name, first name? Sifiso Made. No, he's totally useless. He brings nothing to the board. He is responsible for the misgovernance of rugby. He's responsible for the misgovernance of rugby. I have the authority to say that.
Yes, Honorable.
Okay, I'm really sorry through you, Chair. Honorable Mlisba, we know you are not happy, but ngatibve kumawedza nditongeta kunotuka. Express yourself. We know you are kurwadziwa. Azvitinakidze tindo there's corruption yakadaro. Try not to use those.
Withdraw the word useless.
Thank you.
But he is incompetent. Very incompetent.
Go ahead.
And to me,
try to be brief.
All these, I was a rugby coach. I want to help them with rugby. But I've said that we cannot help each other if we have no accountability and transparency. No one will put money into rugby. People are willing to put money into rugby. We have to hold the Sebo's trust accountable to how they've been spending our money. And we have to totally depart working with them. And
are you saying the Sebo's trust is not part of the 100,000 grant you get?
No, it's not part. The Sebo
Who administers the Sebo's trust?
It is trustees. Like I say, it's a cartel, and the trustees don't come from rugby. You see, the board does not appoint trustees. They are appointed by other people who control that. You see, if it's our
Can you
trust,
hold on there? Mr. Ntuguizo, have you received any support from the Sebo's trust ever since you came into office? Have you received any money?
Yes, we have received a lot of
How much?
support.
How much money?
I think before I answer that, I need to qualify that Sabu Mudisco is completely misinformed.
Okay.
Through you, Chair. I'm just curious, when you asked about the grants you received.
Let's allow you to land. You were driving your point.
Yeah, so I was saying Sabu Mudisco is completely misinformed. There are a lot of things that he's said and a lot of people that he's attacked. I think it's just because he does not have the information. He's only been around for 3 weeks. He has not attended a single board meeting yet. When we have a board meeting and we take him through our confidence and the way things happen in rugby, he will understand. He's been involved before, back in the 90s, and I was involved with him as well. So yes, his information is completely outdated, and I'm hoping that the press do not take most of his things as the actual voice of rugby in the country, but as personal comments that he's made. Not
Honorable Mutau and then Honorable Mafunga.
Sorry, Chairman, with due respect, I've got my integrity and dignity. I've taken oath. I stand by what I've said, and I'll prove it. Not only that, this very same president is a beneficiary of that cartel, and I'll explain how. I'll explain how. You know me as a person who does not point without evidence. The trust bought, listen to this, the trust bought a Mercedes-Benz.
I think we're disintegrating.
It's my time. I don't know why you don't want me to expose
We've
you.
got an agenda. You are making accusations which are not correct, and those people are not here to defend themselves. You are about to attack me. I'm ready to defend myself. If you wanted to disintegrate, I would defend myself. But I don't think we've got an agenda that we must follow.
Order.
And please, let's stick to the agenda.
Order, Mr. President. I've asked Honorable Mutau and then Honorable Mafunga to speak. Thank you.
I think, Mr. Chairman, I think it is unfair for me to be. I think, Chair, I think it is unfair. I took oath, and I'm telling you how the trust functions, the corruption in the trust. Unless you are a supporter of corruption, I'll keep quiet. I want to expose what has happened, which he's been part of, and it's only a minute.
Sabuk.
It's only a minute.
Sabuk, I'm the chair. I'll give you time.
Thank you.
Honorable Mutau.
Through you, Chair. Mr. Mtongwizo, would you say that the legal process that is currently underwriting your leadership of the rugby union has the full support of the 10 provinces?
That is correct.
And your executive has authenticity at law?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Honorable Mafunga.
Thank you, Chair. When we spoke about funds and money coming into rugby, Cebu Trust wasn't mentioned until Sabuku brought up the matter. I'm just curious why Cebu Trust wasn't stated when we spoke about funds coming into rugby. And then secondly, where are the other 7 chairpersons of provinces?
On the 7 chairpersons, I can answer. We just asked him to bring chairpersons he could get hold of. We limited in time. I'm sure they would all have been here. So I want to protect him on that one.
He came here on his own. We came here. He did not tell us. I am a politician. We smuggled ourselves in. He never told us. He came on his own.
Honorable Mliswa, order.
He came on his own. He did not inform the board. He did not mean the board. He's been running this institution personally because he's benefiting.
Please, I am chair. Can you respect
us? He has a Mercedes-Benz out there, which was meant for the coach.
No, can you respect us?
An auction.
Please, can you respect us? Or right. I want to protect the president, Honorable Mtongwizo, on the fact that he himself told me he didn't have enough time to gather all the chairmen. That's what he said. He says you come with those he probably can. And I will not be personal in what is happening with you. Our job is not to get into your personal relationship. He came with 3 chairpersons. As far as we are concerned, he respected us.
No, sir.
How you are here is not
Sir,
our
as a
business.
WhatsApp group we were on, we were not invited. I have evidence, so we cannot accept what's not true.
No, but
he
you are
did
here.
not invite anybody. It's out of our own means.
You are
It's
here,
It's out of our own means. He was shocked to see us here. He nearly fainted when he saw us here, especially me.
Okay, that's fine. Let's progress before we close. I want to end very quickly.
My other question wasn't answered.
Oh, yeah, there's a question that why did you not? You are under oath. We asked about your funding. you only spoke about the grant, and yet we have got Sebo Fund until Sabuko Bliss
He's a
spoke about it.
beneficiary of it.
We're going to give you a chance
The
to
mistake
speak.
is banned. Out there, it's meant for the coach, and he bought it at an auction. When he bought, there's no resolution. Why can I be quiet when there's such corruption?
Okay, you're
The
going to
mistake
speak.
is banned. It's
We're
for the
going to
coach.
speak.
He bought it
You
at
will
an
speak.
auction in Zim dollar.
You will speak.
Okay,
Through me, Honorable Kushlan, please. Who was saying? Want to speak? Honorable, no, please, let's follow the procedure. Honorable, the question will be answered. Honorable Mkushlan will also speak.
Thank you, Chairperson. This country is on record whereby it speaks of inclusivity. I would like to find out from the President if people living with HIV and AIDS are also inclusive in the programs of rugby. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Our constitution is also very clear as far as rugby is concerned. We do not discriminate against anyone, so we do not actually test anyone. So we accept anyone and everyone who's interested in playing.
So I help you, Honorable Member. Marsh West has got a position for somebody representing disabled, but the National Executive Board hasn't got. We have a position for somebody representing disability, an executive position. So the National Executive Board must have an executive position at national level for somebody representing them.
Thank you, Sabuko. Mr. President Mtogwizo, told us about why you didn't divulge under oath about the Sabos Trust. Just very briefly, we're about to round up. We will invite you again as you see Kunema issues go up. So we need to do more investigations. But tell us why if you not divulge such important information.
Thank you, Chairman. Rugby gets a grant, and the grant that they get is one grant, and that grant is what comes from World Rugby. However, to be able to look after all our various national teams, from the under-20s, the women, the sevens, the senior sables, we've set up different committees that will go out there to fundraise to support the various national teams. One of those committees is called the Sables Trust. It's supposed to look after the Sables Men 15. There are other various committees that also raise money to look after the different teams. So there is a women's committee, there is also a sevens committee. They've just come back from Mauritius where they were playing. The money they used to go to that trip and come back was money raised by the sevens committee. So if I can just continue, the issue on the Sables Trust and the reason why I was very strong and categoric in saying that these points are not the union's position is that we have a national team that is going to Uganda next week on Wednesday, and today is already Thursday, and we have partners who are willing to put money in. It's going to cost us close to $100,000 to be able to do that trip. Now, if we start to get negative publicity from board members who are not informed.
You've been stealing, Chair President.
No.
Your car out there, ask him how did he get his Mercedes-Benz? He's been part of the cartel.
Wait, Sabu, I'm going to give you a chance. Can you allow Sabu? I'm going to say it. Can I rule? Can I rule? I'm going to give you a chance to speak. Can you? No. When you are speaking, no one is going to interject. Please allow the president of the association. I've been given his.
The cartel.
No, he came here as the president. We as Parliament actually see him and respect him as the president. Allow him to speak. You saw you as the chairman. I got your name that you are here as the chairman. We also give you chance as the chairman. Do not get personal. This is Parliament. Thank you very much. So, President,
I get hurt to see corruption.
President, please can you
It
finish?
robs people. Kids are not playing rugby yet. Ask him how did he get his Mercedes?
He's
out there. Ask him. It's
we're going to give you a chance.
You'll be arrested.
No. President,
you'll be arrested.
Can you please finish? Please. Can you finish, Mr. President?
Thank you.
Yeah. No, Mr. Honorable. Can you please finish?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right, so we have companies that are ready to put money in, and we are running slightly short on finances to actually be able to achieve all the things that we want to achieve. We have 3 tests coming next week, playing against Uganda, playing against Kenya, and playing against Namibia. And it's of national importance that we go out there and do well, because it's our country. Now, if we do not get our
Mr.
money,
President,
because
sorry to interject. Remember when I started to ask you, I asked you to introduce your team.
correct,
And you are the ones who introduced us to this team.
correct.
So I'm sure you acknowledge them as your team.
They are part of my team.
Thank you. So,
The legit chairperson.
okay, thank you. I want to say this. If some Umuliswa speak again under my voice, I will be forced to evict you. So I'm talking to the chairperson. Let's respect him. We want to finish, Mr. Chairperson, in 3 minutes or 4 minutes. I want to ask Honorable Kutlani to just ask the question quickly. And then I want to give Honorable Umuliswa to tell us about the corruption you are talking about. But we will only give you a minute.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. President, you have said you received £100,000 from World Rugby. You may not have the specifics, but how much does it cost to run rugby annually? What would be your annual budget to actually run Zimbabwe rugby? Then secondly, Mr. President, the schools rugby seems to be doing very well. If you look at the schools that are playing rugby at school level, it's quite intense, quite entertaining, but then it doesn't replicate itself at the higher level. What mechanisms are you putting in place to bridge schools rugby and provincial rugby, and then national rugby? I would want just to understand that, and what sort of challenges are you finding in bridging that gap? Because when you look at St. John's and Peterhouse playing rugby, you can see that these are rugby players. And maybe lastly, schools like Lord Malvern, where Sabo came from, were traditionally known for being very good rugby schools. Prince Edward was traditionally a very good rugby school. What are we doing in terms of getting them back into mainstream rugby?
Thank you very much. Just to take the first question on how much money we need to run a union. So it depends with the year. In a year where you are trying to qualify for the main 15th World Cup, you will need up to $1 million to be able to run the union. But in a year where you don't have to qualify and it's just fulfilling fixtures and playing an ordinary friendly game here and there, you'd need maybe 400,000 to 500,000 US.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, are you comfortable? Are you happy?
Always very happy.
I'm
Very
going
comfortable.
to say this on behalf of my committee that I'm going to invite you again. When you come again, can you bring in your full leadership, all the chairpersons? How many provinces do you have?
So I have 10 provinces from throughout the country, and I obviously also have other board members that are within Harare, some of them that are in charge of referees, that form part of the board. So I can bring as much as 20 people. However,
No, we want just my chairpersons president nema vice president ake.
Or my vice president, president and the 10 chairpersons.
That's all. Can you do that? It will give you time. We're not saying next week. We'll give you maybe 3 weeks to sort yourself out.
Would you be able to support us with the budget?
We are Parliament. To stop mocking us, Mr. President. I think that is an insult.
I need to move chairpersons out of Fig Fours, out of Byte Bridge.
If you can't, you tell us you can't.
Okay, I don't know. I've never been a parliamentarian, so I'm just asking, making sure.
Our mandate is to oversee what you're doing. We demand to see people. How they get here has never been our problem. That's why we always ask you, can you? If you can't, you tell us you can't. It's not an issue.
I can.
Thank you. Just one last question to the President. Honorable Kushani raised a very important point. You can switch off your microphone so that of junior rugby in schools. My greatest fear, please. My greatest concern I've noticed is, and I spoke this to Sabo, who is the chairman of Marsh West, and maybe of Madikaland and all those represented, that Peterhouse, St. John's, St. George's are the schools that we really know do very well in rugby. And a Falcon College. But kwangu kune Mfuke High School, kuna wapana waloto na rugby. Do you, as the national president, have a vision to at least give them support through the SEBOS fund, which I'm told, trust fund, which I'm told is good, more money than the grant?
Yes, certainly, we would like to give them support, but the key in rugby, which a lot of people do not know, is that fitness and conditioning plays a massive role. So the kids that you're talking about that are in St. John's and all that, because they are getting enough nutrition and gym and all that, their game tends to be better than some of our counterparts in the Highland City area. And when it comes to senior rugby, one of the questions that Honorable Mkuhlani asked, why are we struggling at senior level? It's because when the kids leave school, they have to look after themselves in nutrition. They become young men. They need employment, they need work, they need to go to the gym, and they need...
Can I interject? I don't agree with you, Mr. President. And I wanted to excuse Honorable Mkuhlani for this one, but I will allow him to listen to it, because we in the rural areas or in the grassroots there, they've got sports disciplines we have always looked at as elitist. But Zimbabwean cricket is buying bets and everything and taking it to Unana Modoro. He has done that as the chairman. I don't want to say it in his presence so that maybe he thinks I'm tapping his back. So if you are interested in seeing mwana wako Urungwe achitamba rugby, nekuti havasi vose vane talent vanokwanisa kuenda kuFalcon College. KuUrungwe variko vane talent, asi havana beans nemabhatatisi amunawo. Mune urongwa here hwekuendesa chikafu kune vana vari interested kuti vaite fitness yacho yamunoda kuti mangwana vatambiro national team. Ndokuvandudza kwavanoita homwe dzavo, ndomubvunzo wavo.
Yeah, ndizvozvo tinawo urongwa hwokudaro, and it's actually part of our development plan and program to make sure that everyone in the entire country gets the support to be able to play the game.
When can we expect to start seeing? Well, we know your budget restricted. We're not trying to ambush you. You select your Chikoro permanent. We're not saying everybody. Honorable Mr. says he's got 800 primary schools. He can't provide food for anybody. We know that. But we're saying, when can we expect to see in those efforts?
I'll say from September. We should have had our board meetings, agreed on the fundamentals and the plan, and implementation should start in earnest.
We have high hopes of you, Mr. Mtongwizu. Albeit I'm hearing about corruption. you come in after Sabukundiswa. Sabukundiswa, there are other chairpersons here, but we don't want to. You came to Parliament to give oral evidence. We want you to calm down. We know your temper, you're a popular figure, you've been in Parliament yourself. We are giving you a minute. You spoke of an interesting subject that is worrying MPs. You see, they're talking to me, You spoke of corruption. And we just want you to touch on the corruption in rugby. Nationally, not with the president or not with I just want you to give us the corruption happening in rugby. And the cameras are on you. So, and you are under oath. Thank you.
Chairman, first of all, I'm never temperamental, I'm just passionate. Yeah, I'm just passionate. And at times you can mix passionate. I would not join a setup without understanding what it is, with the background I have. And with the level that I'm at, I'm like the father to most chairpersons, all of them. They're here. And I think to get you to understand that what we are bringing to you is critical, you can also ask them as chairpersons, is what Honorable Nis was saying, Sabukundiswa, true or not? First of all, there's got to be transparency and accountability in any organization. I have a name to protect. That's why I've taken these interests. That's why I mention them. So that one day people don't say, but Mliswa, you were in there, you were quiet. It must be on record. I've got a number of points which I'd put down. Decisions are never made by the board. The budget which he presented to Honorable Mkutlane, we've never sat down to discuss it. He's just been elected, we've not sat down to sit down and discuss the budget. So where he got it from, I don't know. I would like him to show us minutes and everything which he can present to you on this day we set it down. So it would be unfair for me to agree that we sat down and agreed on a budget. He talked about 1 million, he talked about 500,000. Where is that coming from? The other executive members are here, maybe they were part of the meeting. You ask them, that, did you ever sit down and prepare a budget? 2, the issue of growing the sport, which is fundamental, has nothing to do with any physical need. A good athlete is a good athlete anyway. The critical issue he is identified and represents his country. So where does food come in? The rural people are the fittest people. So if you're talking about a sport which requires fitness and endurance, go to the rural areas. Vanofudza ng'ombe, vanorima, vanomanya, vanofamba 5 kilometers, 10 kuenda kuchikoro. Vana veku St. John's nePeter House havafambi izvozvo. There is, when there's enhancement of drugs, steroids, black people are natural athletes by nature. They don't need steroids. Let those who need steroids take steroids. But it's natural. So the aspect of the good question that you asked, Chairman and Honorable Mkutlane, is that why are we seeing Peter House and St. George's thriving? It's because they're racist, there's discrimination now. You now have a situation where there are 2 festivals in this country, which this rugby union has agreed to. One for the whites and the elite blacks, which is played at St. John's College, which secludes any other black school. It's painful, and one must be emotional about that. In this country, 1980, after independence, you are saying that we're only playing rugby with this school, this school, this school, this school. This, I would also want you to take it up with the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education. Why is he allowed the division? And then there's another one for blacks, which is now played at Prince Edward School, where the poor blacks are there. So to me, that is a fact. What is the rugby?
Hold on, is that correct, Mr. President? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
I don't know, is the president, I don't know, I think let's have order. I've said that there are 2 rugby festivals. One at St. John's, which is for the elite schools. Peter House, Falcon. Then there's one at Prince Edward, which is for the Vekumusha Nema former government schools, even on the Princeton, and I cheat you. Vakutamba ikoko. So ndanipa pipe. I hope you're telling that is under oath. I don't know, Honorable Executive, am I lying or not? Maybe you can ask them too so that they can.
Chair, we are running out of time. I don't want us to have a debate about this. But I'll ask one chairperson, is that correct? Now we are asking because we're going to have an inquiry. Is that correct? Can I have one of you just answer very quickly?
Yeah, there are two tournaments which are held.
So it is
one at
correct.
St. John's and one at...
Why?
Obviously, I think coming out of COVID, the PE festival didn't have structures or funding to it. So St. John's and the other ATS, which is your private schools, should I say private schools, are the ones which form the St. John's tournament strictly for ATS schools. It's exclusive.
The fact that I don't have is whether this is sanctioned by Zimbabwe Rugby or not. But there are two different leagues, and it's not only in rugby. It's not a phenomenon you find in rugby. You find out that Falcon travels all the way to Harare. They don't play with schools in Bulawayo.
That's colonial mentality.
It's not only in rugby.
That's colonial mentality.
It's all over. But what I cannot confirm is whether it's sanctioned by Zimbabwe Rugby. But it's that's the setup. That I think Falcon maybe plays CBC and Petra, I don't know. But they don't play all the other schools in Matabele.
That's a problem. Okay.
Just to conclude.
No, before you conclude, Mr. President, I think it's a very serious issue, but I think let's be. I think Mr. President is just coming in as president. Is that correct? It's a couple of how many months now?
Just 2 months, but I was vice president for 6 years, so you can ask me.
Okay, no. Vice President, let me say maybe you're not the president. I don't want to put you on the corner. Let me allow you, when we invite you with your whole team, to come up with the full report and probably remedies. Us as the parliamentarians are going to sit down. I want to assure you, you will hear this in Parliament. We are going to take it to the House to find out why there's still colonial structures in our country.
Strategic document.
Yeah, please bring your strategic document.
Or finish us ahead.
Yes, or you can finish us ahead of time now. We'll give you time to do it.
So our strategy document is expired. We are actually supposed to be sitting to create a new strategy document.
Okay, thank you, President. Last question. Before
Can I finish my...
Wait, before you finish, Honorable Minister, we are not going to allow you to finish. We are only going to ask you to answer one question. You are protected again. Remember, you're in Parliament. We can't tell you anything. Tell us about the Sebo Trust Fund and who are the directors. Please, we have heard the chairman, the growth was leave him out. We want to know others. And tell us about the Mercedes-Benz.
The Sebo's Trust, the document, and I've got that clause I was talking about, which talks about the rugby board cannot interfere with how it operates. So it's constitutional. It has 4 trustees. I know one of them is Dr. Tafuma Paranyatwa. And then I think it has 2 blacks and 2 whites. If I'm not mistaken, but I think it's 4. Am I correct, Chairperson?
It's board members. They're committee members.
Yeah.
They're not trustees.
They are committee members. So they raise money for the national team. So first of all, the national team must never say we don't have money. I've even asked the allowances for the players.
Who audits the Sebo's Trust?
I don't know.
Mr. President.
They are audited. We have various auditors, but like I said, Sapuku is just arriving. This is why it keeps failing.
The question is, who audits them? Just answer the question.
Different auditors. I'll need to check. The last
Sorry, through you, Chair.
I
think, okay, we will protect you.
I think the fair thing to say is that
You are not a member of the trust, are you?
one, I'm not a member of the trust.
Yeah.
Two, this was not on the agenda that was sent to me.
No,
Three,
no.
I'm just
It was
finding
on the
myself
agenda.
under attack.
No, you're not under attack. Mr. President, I've got the letter here. We asked you to come to tell us about the grants that you receive.
Correct.
Which is the money that you receive.
Correct.
Is that? Did you see that letter?
Correct. Yes, I did.
So, did you tell us about this? I asked you, who gives you money, and you says we get 100,000. You were even so at liberty to tell us the figure. I was so impressed. You should have just simply said that I also have got Sabot's trust, which gives me $40,000 a month. We wouldn't be discussing this. The reason why Honorable Mavunga here then says, why didn't you tell us about it? It raised their questions. It's natural.
Because it's not just one. He continues to attack the Sabot's trust. I've explained that there is sevens. The sevens also have a committee which raises funds, which he is not talking about, no one is talking about. He is just fixed on the Sabot's trust. The women also raise money, which we have not talked about.
Mr.
But all that money is not...
Address me. Don't worry about your chair.
Okay. So the money that...
Can I ask this question for the last time?
Correct.
Are you the president of Zimbabwe Rugby Union?
Correct, 100%.
Is Sabot Trust audited?
Yes.
Do you know the auditors?
Not from the top of my head.
Can you get them to me or for the producer of the committee maybe ahead before you come with your whole team? We're not accusing you of anything. We just want to know if it's audited. That's all.
That is fine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Are you done now?
No, lastly, there was the Sabot Trust, which is responsible for raising money, then decided to buy a Mercedes-Benz, an ML, for the coach, the foreign coach, Peter de Villiers, who was here. So Peter de Villiers was given that Mercedes-Benz, bought by the trust for the coach. For some reason, that vehicle was bought in an auction in Zim dollars by the president. So the board has no minutes unless he can show me, unless other board members can tell me of that car being disposed of. So we still anticipate that there's a car for the national coach. If at all it was to be disposed of, it was supposed to be on the agenda and the board resolving that. It was sold in Zim dollars. So we don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you. So what I'm told, so that I finish, is that him and the chairman, the president then, Aaron Jani, had a tiff. They used to fight. So it was a way of not exposing each other to silence him. So he was given the Mercedes-Benz. So I would want us to know that where is it that the make was supposed to be sold? Because that's a property of the coach. That's a problem. So it's not a joke. I've told him that this will see him in jail tomorrow. If I leave here and go to anti-corruption, he will be arrested. Because that's a serious issue. You cannot go and sell a kite in auction without a resolution of the board for the national coach. So the national coach right now is driving a Fit, if I'm not mistaken. He's black. So the white one drove a Mercedes-Benz, the black one is driving a Fit. So how did he acquire the vehicle belonging to the national coach bought by the trust?
Okay, thank you very much. You've put it on board. I am not going to ask the president to respond because we have to protect him. Sorry? Yeah, but if he answers now, we're not in inquiry. So I don't want him to respond. What I do want from the president is to give us a report of the allegations that are raised by your chairpersons, and would want you to bring all of the chairpersons with you. I'm worried about the Sailboats Trust. And honorable members, have you noticed something about all the associations order? Have you noticed something very peculiar about? I want to say this so that Parliament will record, the journalists are recording. Of all the associations that we've had and had oral evidence from, Zimbabwe Rugby seems to be controlled by a few people.
Yes.
It's like it's a private company. It's like it's owned by some few individuals. That's what I'm beginning to know. There's a trust. It's controlled by this. They don't want to be audited. They'll give you money. They buy the coaches. This. It's yes, and that is a bit worrying, Mr. President. We'll take it up to Parliament. Like I said, you will hear this in Parliament. You are comfortable. You are protected here. What he said will not be used against you, unless if it goes to ZAC. We are not ZAC. But we are here to make sure that Zimbabwe Rugby is played, the Zimbabweans, in populace, all of them benefit from your works. But if there's things like this, it worries us. Then to say, Magapana na mabenz, Magadi is not wara. So we will not accuse you. Give us a full report. Remember, you would give us the report. Yamuno will testify under oath. I want to say this, honorable members, because Honorable Sapu Muliswa has been speaking a lot. On that next meeting, he must be present when you present that report. And he is also protected. Sapu Muliswa, when you leave this place, you are protected. If anything happens to you, you will write to us very quickly. We know. Can you allow us to speak?
Everything happened to me.
Can you allow us to speak? So you guys are protected, but Mr. President, we want to thank you and your team for coming. We are the Parliament. We oversee. This is what happens. You just said you're just coming in. I'm sure, but you know, family meet chipeta temi. Mlingi makuti mukauya apa, mlingi mchitaura taita tichifara tichinazwa. Those later my associations. Chandisina kufara nacho is your chairperson. Is the fact number one is you don't even invite any one of these MPs to any one of your games. Now, that Madama game Mangani, I was stripping you. Then you then say, you have got a parliamentary portfolio committee, you don't invite to come and see. When then Honorable Muliswa comes and say this and this, we believe him. Because we actually think Mlimchitiza Mtemo. Saka kadzirisai pese ipapo munonyora invitation kwandiri mukopa message toendesa kwainenda tichiona rugby tichitambwa rikatambwa rugby rikanakidza muchaona noise inoita show mukatamba nevanhu vedu vekuva misha vakatamba rugby noise inoita show ndazongenda kusapotai ndichiti mupe chikafu ngaikrashwa zvakanzi uku kumusha kuna vanhu vakasimba zvisingaite president ngavasadaro. I hope my journalist will be able to type up on our So, but I understood the point you said you want to assist them. Please do assist them. So today we will prematurely end this because I feel emotions are a bit high. Come back with your Mercedes-Benz and our report and before we want to know what is happening in rugby, and come with your full executive, the chairman, and resolve your internal problems. Because when the leadership fight, is the grassroots that will suffer. It's the people that are supposed to be playing rugby that will suffer. So, away with corruption, away with all these machinations, unite for the benefit of rugby. Anyone wants to say something?
Can I request that we actually have a board meeting first? We have obviously Sabu Muliswa will be fired up on the day, and he will obviously make his allegations. Would like to discuss it at board level and come up with the minutes, and rather give you that as the position rather than I am saying one thing, he's saying one thing.
Mr. President, you are a corporate person. I have noticed you keep on doing this. I think this is where I see the problem is. We are the parliamentarians. You don't tell us what to do, we tell you what to do. Yes. We said we want a report. Whether you're going to do a board meeting now or tomorrow, those are internal issues. We don't interfere. Whether Honorable Sabu will be there or be fired up or not, I think it's like you're now insulting the MPs by saying you'll be fired up. You even said it when yes, I invited you and you even said, are you going to give us the money to come here? That kind of, yes, that kind of
My
behavior.
apologies for that.
Thank you. We are together. We are not here. This is Parliament. It's not personal. Okay? From here, you are going to have tea with me. This is not personal. We are here to make sure rugby yaita zvakanaka. Vamuna nkabwa vada kuona sport ichifamba. Atibabatsirane kana tasvika panyaya yenyika. Enda havadi kuona corruption. Thank you very much. Have a good day.